Coming up on State of Events, find out which retail stores are taking initiative on gun control.
And the chances of California falling into another drought is now very possible. State of Events starts now.
Welcome to State of Events. I'm Britta Larson.
And I'm Tyler McKinney.
Abortion pills will now be widely available at Cal State campuses, making it easier for young women to take control of their choice for an abortion. However, the abortion pill on campus is a hot-button issue which State of Events has been investigating. Reporter Kelly DeLeon has the story.
The new legislation is called SB 320, and if it passes, CSU health centers will be required to offer the abortion pill to those less than 10 weeks pregnant. Chino Senator Connie Leyva first introduced the legislation February of 2017 with the goal of making abortion more accessible for college students. San Francisco State student Yanira Villaflon didn't want to be on camera, but she voiced her opinion about the measure.
If it's allowed on campus, it's definitely more accessible towards people that maybe can't afford it, or they just don't have the time because of how busy they are with like school or like a job.
Spokeswoman for the Chancellor's Office, Tony Moll, told Mercury News CSU officials are worried about costs for liability insurance, safety improvements, medical training, and round-the-clock phone support in case of emergencies. SB 320 doesn't specify if funding will come from state or university money, but private donors have stepped up to say they will pay for the $14 million startup cost.
If the legislation is passed, then health centers will be required to carry the abortion pill by the year 2022. But before that can happen, it still needs to be passed through the Assembly and signed by Governor Jerry Brown. In San Francisco, I'm Kelly DeLeon with State of Events.
NRA membership numbers are increasing, and so are the numbers of other gun rights groups across the nation. After the most recent school shooting at Douglas High, gun rights groups are receiving more applications than ever before. Unidentified NRA members say they've seen more people than usual join, renew memberships, and donate money. Experts say that while the NRA remains silent about its membership numbers, the rise in membership numbers of other groups demonstrate the power of the NRA's influence.
Two major gun retailers are taking steps to reduce the sale of firearms in response to the school shooting in Parkland, Florida. Walmart and Dick's Sporting Goods are the first major retailers to change their policies on the sale of firearms. Dick's Sporting Goods announced that they are immediately stopping the sale of all assault-style rifles to anyone under the age of 21, no matter the local laws. Walmart then followed suit and announced that they will no longer sell a gun to anyone under 21, and they will also stop the sale of assault-style rifles. These changes come after 17 people were killed in the school shooting in Parkland, Florida.
Yesterday was set to be the last day for Congress to reach a conclusion for the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program, but there has yet to be a final decision made. DACA protects undocumented individuals known as Dreamers from deportation. Court actions are putting the deadline on hold, giving lawmakers more time to come up with a solution. Meanwhile, Dreamers remain in limbo. Hundreds of Dreamers and DACA supporters traveled to Washington, D.C. yesterday to speak their minds. They demanded that Congress allow Dreamers to stay in the country without fear of deportation. The final decision has yet to be made.
Attorney General Jeff Sessions will make a major announcement on sanctuary cities tomorrow in Sacramento. The Justice Department is reviewing Oakland Mayor Libby Schaaf's actions after she warned that an immigration sweep was coming 24 hours in advance. According to ICE, the mayor's warning did more wrong than good, considering that half of those detained had criminal records. 232 people have been detained since last week's sweep. ICE says that hundreds of threats still remain at large, and it is unclear exactly how many escaped their grasp.
Though the recent rain might make driving a hassle, it is a step towards combating California's drought. While the recent storms have made an impact on the drought, it will not be enough to sustain California long term. Before the storms, California had 1/4 of its normal snowpack, and according to the National Weather Service, we would need 6 more storms just to bring winter levels up to normal. And the chances of that happening are slim to none. All of the rain last year brought the state out of a 5-year drought, but this year's rainy season has been much less significant. Let's hope for some more rain this year so we don't fall back into another drought. Next on State of Events, children are overdosing on opioids due to unexpected missteps.
And find out which apps are succeeding and which ones are failing. All this and more on State of Events.
Sometimes it's hard to juggle everything at once. Different lessons to learn. Different places to explore. Different errands to run. But the one thing that always gets me through the day is my reusable bag. Make it a habit and grab it. This message brought to you by the Bay Area Recycling Outreach Coalition.
There are many important days in your child's life. Their first birthday, their first big game, their first day of school. Choosing the right school for your child sets them on a path for success. Apply on time. It's for your family's future.
A recent donation will allow all San Francisco elementary school students to visit the Academy of Science. A recent donation will allow all San Francisco elementary school students to visit the Academy of Science. A recent donation from philanthropists Arthur and Tony Rembe Rock will allow students from kindergarten to 5th grade to visit the California Academy of Sciences every year of elementary school. An $11 million donation was already in place for 4th and 5th graders. $9 million more was donated so that every student will now be able to go. The donation includes transportation and tickets for students and family members. Teachers are happy that all of their students will be able to visit the Academy and expand their horizons.
A new study finds that the number of children overdosing on opioids has doubled. Researchers believe many of these overdoses are likely caused by children taking prescription medications after discovering them at home. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says about 60,000 children end up in emergency rooms each year after ingesting medications while adults aren't watching. Here are some ideas to keep in mind. Keep medicines out of children's reach and sight. Lock them up if you need to. Remember to always put them away immediately and never refer to medication as candy.
A new study from UCSF shows how daily e-cigarette use can be harmful to your health. The study shows that people who use e-cigarettes on a daily basis are doubling their chances of having a heart attack. While many people use them to help quit smoking cigarettes, they can be just as damaging to your health. E-cigarettes are not as safe as people think they are. While they emit lower levels of carcinogens, they deliver high levels of particles and toxins that can increase the risk of cardiovascular and other lung diseases. The doctor in charge of the study says that the only way to quit smoking is to say no more and just stop smoking with the help of therapy or counseling.
54 new lockdown psychiatric beds will open this month at St. Mary's Medical Center, more than doubling the current number of beds for mentally ill patients too ill to live on their own. The new facility, San Francisco Healing Center, will provide round-the-clock treatment. Beds will be provided to those who often wind up back onto the streets after seeking medical treatment. The project started in support of a newly proposed bill aiming to move ill homeless people off the streets. Mayor Mark Farrell says that this will make a massive difference in the community.
There is a lot going on in the world of smartphone applications, from disappointing updates to upcoming new social networks. State of Events reporter Jessica Mogenier has the latest.
Hey everyone, what's happening? Get it? Let's get down to business and talk about the latest in the world of smartphone applications. First off, Snapchat. There has been a ton of controversy following the recent update, from petitions to remove it to high-profile celebrities voicing their disappointment of the app's new features. Fortunately for Snap investors, social media usage trackers indicate that in February, Snapchat's audience reach only dropped by 0.1%. And although there were plenty of rumors circulating that the Snapchat was going to reverse the update, I can assure you that those rumors are false. Snapchat CEO Evan Siegel responded to rumors saying that its leadership thought about the redesign and has no intentions of reversing it. And there's a new app on the rise. It's called Vero, and its rise to popularity couldn't come at a more convenient time. Last week, this app had less than 150,000 downloads. As of today, it has nearly 3 million. This is said to be driven by the frustrations of features in apps like Snapchat and Instagram. So what is Vero? Vero is an ad-free social network. Its feed is organized chronologically, unlike Facebook and Instagram's algorithm-driven feed. It's now the second most popular app in Apple's App Store and sits at the top of Google Play's free app chart. But Vero being free didn't last for very long. The company said the first 1 million users would get free access to the app, and then they would introduce a subscription fee. Vero's subscription-based app is meant to allow the app to remain ad-free. We will have to see which business model works best, ad-free with a monthly subscription or free advertisement. That's all for today's Tech Roundup. Back to you ladies at the desk.
Thanks, Jessica. One parking garage in Oakland is making finding a parking spot less stressful while also saving space. Hive Parking Garage is the first and only completely automatic parking structure, and it opened last Monday. Located on the corner of Broadway and 24th, the structure can hold up to 39 cars. Drivers simply pull in, lock their vehicle, and then it is lifted to a spot. Upon the owner's return, they simply push a button, and in just over a minute, the vehicle is returned. While making parking easier, it also saves space. The entire structure takes up only 1,600 square feet. City Lift, the company who built the structure, has plans to build garages like this one in several cities across the U.S.
Bright colored bikes are popping up on street corners in cities such as San Francisco. New companies like Lime Bike release dockless bikes as an easy and cheap way of transportation. Because the bikes are dockless, you can lock them up or leave them standing right where you are. The problem is that users are leaving them on federal land, blocking sidewalks and emergency entrances. The volume of bikes and their sudden appearance is prompting complaints. City residents feel that they are having to dodge the bikes and hope that it does not become an ongoing issue. Consumer frustration is causing the bike sharing company to make minor changes.
In the Bay Area, people with disabilities unite against Uber. The reason? Not enough wheelchair-accessible vehicles in San Francisco and Alameda County. Sarah Cabrizo has the story.
Citizens in the Bay Area file a new lawsuit against Uber. The company doesn't have enough wheelchair-accessible vehicles. Melissa Reyes is the staff attorney at Berkeley's Disability Rights Advocates. She filed the lawsuit and explains that 80% of the time, wheelchair-accessible vehicles are not available on Uber, and if they are, they will take longer waiting times. Judina Smith, founder of Oakland's Axis Dance Company and one of the lawsuit's plaintiffs, told to State of Events that the only other alternative for people in wheelchairs that don't want to drive is taking public transportation.
But public transportation is not available at some points, like here in Church Union Station in San Francisco. Hence the importance of an Uber service accessible for everyone, like Disability Rights Advocates explain on their webpage.
Being able to order a car from your front door is something people with disabilities need, Judith Smith states. The lawsuit doesn't expect to get money from the transportation company. Reyes explains that the only thing they want is that people with disabilities get an equal access to the Uber service. Reyes didn't want to make any forecast about the future of the lawsuit, but she was optimistic, since right now Uber is breaking California law, not making his service accessible for everyone. In San Francisco, this is Sarah Cabrerizo for State of Events.
Coming up at State of Events, Spring Bay Area sports are just around the corner as teams begin to prepare for the season.
Oscars were a night to remember, from great acceptance speeches to memorable viewing parties. All this and more on State of Events.
Here, Mommy, you hold the bag. I made it for you in school today.
Oh, sweetie, it's beautiful. Wow, I love that bag.
Thanks. It's one of a kind.
Oh, fabulous bag. Who makes it?
I did.
To learn more about why you should bring your own bag, visit igotmybag.org.
Donate to Habitat for Humanity Greater San Francisco and let your change become the change a family needs. Habitat for Humanity Greater San Francisco, building homes and hope in Marin, San Francisco, and the Peninsula.
Not only Bay Area natives, but people all over the country are going home with new treasures that they found at the 59th Annual White Elephant Sale in Oakland. State of Events reporter Karen Rios has the story.
Jaya Fern is a board member of the White Elephant Sale and says that their proceeds are about $1.5 million and go to the Oakland Museum. She also says that they sell quality goods that are affordable because Bay Area residents are being affected by housing and retail costs.
And actually, historically, departments like this, we're in children's right now. Children's is sort of one of the departments that we've always had as a way to, keep costs down for young families, and then other families that aren't quite as, well off. And it's not necessarily a high grossing department. We don't make that much money here, but we still provide it as sort of a service. So you can get like a rocker for $10, onesies are $1. And as you see, people come here with their kids, and they buy their clothes and they buy other things that their families need. And so it's really exciting that we can sort of help provide that for people.
Year after year, people continue to come to find sustainable items with great quality that are lower in cost to take to their homes.
Before, there are more unique items shopping this way, and so it is. I think fashion is a big part of it, especially vintage pieces, but this is a much more economical way of shopping. So I don't buy retail, I don't buy new retail, I only buy secondhand, and that's for cost reasons.
Now I'm gonna go save some money and I'm gonna go find someone else's treasures. In Lancaster, Oakland, I'm Karen Rios for State of Events. Spring is right around the corner, which means a new season of Bay Area sports is on the way. Ronnie Kunzervong has all the details in this week's Sports Roundup. Ronnie?
That one's going way back there, still going.
Spring training is in full swing for baseball. The San Francisco Giants continue their busy schedule with games against the Rangers over the weekend. Highlights include Evan Longoria swinging in a first pitch. He drives deep right center field and carries it all into the ballpen. Beautiful home run. The Giants score 4 more home runs to beat the Rangers 9-4. The Oakland A's are 2-3-1 so far, but health is more important than its record. Players report minor back injuries, including from pitchers Sean Manaea and Daniel Gossett. Let's just hope things get better before the season starts. In NFL, the Niners won the coin toss against the Raiders for this year's draft. The Niners pick at number 9, while the Raiders go at number 10. And finally, in soccer, Mexico seeks redemption at Levi Stadium. They play against Iceland for a key game on their road to the 2018 FIFA World Cup in Russia. It's the first time Mexico plays in the Bay Area since the 2016 Copa America Centauro Games. They play Iceland on the 23rd. And that was your sports roundup for State of Events. I'm Veronique Kunzervong.
Sunday was one of Hollywood's biggest nights where many gathered to celebrate the Academy Awards.
But don't worry if you missed it, because Lauren G is in the studio for the full recap of the event. Lauren?
Thank you. Sunday was an exciting night in LA's Dolby Theater, where Hollywood's top actors, directors, and screenwriters all gathered for the 90th Academy Awards. Jimmy Kimmel finessed his opening monologue as he hosted for the second time. He addressed the envelope mix-up from last year and the pressing Hollywood sexual harassment issues that have been happening.
If we are successful here, if we can work together to stop sexual harassment in the workplace, if we can do that, women will only have to deal with harassment all the time at every other place they go.
With much anticipation and controversy over majority white representation at the Oscars over the past years, the Academy did their best to include diverse winners and presenters.
And I am from Pakistan and Iowa, two places that nobody in Hollywood can find on a map.
Mexican director Guillermo del Toro took home Best Picture and Best Director for his movie The Shape of Water. Jordan Peele became the first African-American to win Best Screenplay for his thriller Get Out. And Disney's movie Coco, which is centered around Mexico's Day of the Dead, won Best Animated Feature Film. NBA star Kobe Bryant took home Best Animated Short for his film Dear Basketball. And Frances McDormand, who won Best Actress for the movie 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, had one of the best acceptance speeches. Kimmel said she should have won an Emmy for it.
Okay, look around, everybody. Look around, ladies and gentlemen, because we all have stories to tell and projects we need financed.
She left with the words, inclusion rider, which referred to an actor's contract agreement to hire a diverse cast and crew, which Hollywood is trying to bring forth in their movies this year and for years to come. The 2018 Academy Awards ended with Mark Bridges winning a jet ski for delivering the shortest speech for designing costumes after he accepted his Best Costume awards. And as always, the Oscars is a night to remember. Back to you ladies at the desk.
Thanks, Lauren. Viewing parties took place all across the country in favor of the 90th Oscars that aired on ABC. Reporter Gabby Gebhardt goes in depth at one popular viewing party to discuss minority representation in Hollywood.
At the Soma Street Food Park in San Francisco, spirits were high as fans gathered to watch the 90th celebration of the Oscars.
So I thought it'd be fun to come out and check it out.
Harvey Weinstein, one iconic guest who has been in the tabloids frequently, was not in attendance this year. His absence paved the way for women and other minorities to come together and set the tone for the beginning of an inclusive era of award shows. Frances McDormand won Leading Actress for her role in 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. During her acceptance speech, she invited all female Oscar nominees to stand in unity.
I have 2 words to leave with you tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Inclusion rider.
Now a trending hashtag on Twitter, an inclusion rider is a stipulation that the cast and crew in a film reflect real demographics, including an equal number of women, ethnic minorities, LGBTQ individuals, and people with disabilities. After talking to guests like Kayla Santo, she feels progress has been made with certain minority groups. According to a study released by the University of Southern California, ethnic representation on screen is broken down into percentages. 13.6% of speaking characters in films were African American, 5.7% were Asian, and the most underrepresented ethnic group on screen were Latinos at 3.1%.
I do think we're making progress in everything, but there's sadly to say, there's not only Black people, there's also like Asian people and then other people being misrepresented as well.
Although there is not much representation on screen, behind the scenes, directors like Guillermo del Toro, a Mexican immigrant, won 4 Oscars for The Shape of Water. And another winner is Jordan Peele, the screenwriter behind the film Get Out. Peele is the first African American to take home an Oscar for Best Original Screenplay.
Because I knew if someone let me make this movie, that people would hear it and people would see it.
After talking with guests at the Soma Street Food Park, most feel we have a long way to go before there is full representation of men, women, and all ethnicities in the Oscars. Reporting for State of Events in San Francisco, I am Gabby Gebhardt.
Thanks, Gabby. Did you see any of the movies?
The only one I saw was Get Out.
I saw that one.
It was very well written.
Yeah, it was really good. The Shape of Water, it looked good. I didn't get a chance to catch it, but I'm going to have to see it now.
I might have to catch that too. That's it for State of Events. I'm Britta Larson.
And I'm Tyler McKinney. We hope to see you next week.